Hey everyone, it's Michael Goosebumps fan. I hope you're doing well today. Happy Halloween. This is the first review I've done for Halloween or October month, whatever, of 2022. This is a review for another Series 2000 book of the Goosebumps series called Are You Afraid Yet? It's number 9, as a matter of fact. Look at this crazy cover, man. I have a fear of bugs, spiders especially, that kind of thing. And this particular scene of the book is one of the greatest scenes in Goosebumps history, in my opinion. And I love the book. Really, I did. It's not perfect or anything, but I really dig it. I think this is one of the ones I hear a lot of people say bad things about. It kind of surprised me as I read this one. As weird, as bizarre as the setup is for this book, the storyline isn't completely sensical, but for the most part, I really like what this book is. By the way, it's like 5 a.m., and I can't sleep. I had a very weird day. I slept in very late yesterday, and I've got a massive headache. I thought I'd go ahead and get some recording done here and on my other channel called Strange Michael, where I review just horror movies and whatever. I'm working on the Halloween films right now. Probably not going to upload the reviews yet, but before Halloween ends, God willing, I'm planning on reviewing all of those. So go check that out if you want to. Anyway, yeah, are you terrified yet? I keep trying to say are you afraid yet, but that is Are You Afraid of the Dark? That's running through my brain. Are you terrified yet? Aside from the great cover, like I said, really like this book. Essentially, you have a young man named Craig who came from a town where everybody made fun of him in school. Now that I'm so tired, I'm going to stutter all over my sentences just like Craig does when he's scared. Craig used to have a really bad reputation of being a fraidy cat, and kids made fun of him all the time because he would start to stutter when he would get scared, and he was scared of a lot of things. The book opens up with him getting a leaf touching the back of his neck, falling down, because it does take place during fall. And by the way, the scenery of that is just beautifully well written in this book. It fits this time of the year so well. And it really adds an atmosphere with the wind blowing and, again, the leaves falling down, all that stuff to this book. I really like that aspect of it. I think Stein really pulled that off very well. But he has kind of just little fears like that, where he thinks a leaf that fell down is touching the back of his neck, and he thinks it's a spider, and he goes crazy. But he gets caught up in a situation where he rescues a baby from a car that's rolling down a hill. The mom is chasing after it. He just barely saves that kid. And from that point on, for whatever reason, in the town, on like his first day of school or the day before the first day of school, something like that, everybody, including some of the kids he's going to go to school with and getting ready to meet, seem to think that he's this very brave fellow and that he never gets scared of anything, especially the main girl. I think her name is Amy, I believe, who seems to think that he's very brave, and she kind of she keeps saying things, especially around these two other kids that think he's not that great to begin with, and she keeps throwing out all these things and just won't shut up, and basically puts him in worse and worse situations, and Craig finds himself in a situation where everybody's trying to dare him and bet money and whatever, on what kind of things might actually scare him, particularly these two other kids, like I said. And they put him through a lot of different trials, the first one being the scene from the book about putting his hand in a jar of spiders for 5 minutes. These are like massive tarantula-like spiders. Dude, I'm going to tell you, this book is very effective, in my opinion. Depending on what creeps you out, what scares you, what gets under your skin. Again, I have a lot of fears. There's one particular scene towards the end of this book that is kind of repeated twice, but I really love the book. I think it's got a lot of creepiness to it. I think it's perfect for this time of the year, being a fall, October-ish type of fear. And it's kind of scary, frankly. Again, scenes like that jar thing are what really get to me. I have, again, fears of things like bugs and some of the other things that are brought up in here these kids try to scare our main character with. It is kind of a gory book. It does not shy away from death. And if you know the book, if you've read the book, you know what I mean but when I say that, because it's... You're very likely to encounter a corpse in this book is what I'm trying to tell you. And whether people die on the page or not is up to you to read the book and find out about it, but it's not a hard one to come by. Are You Terrified Yet? Does not shy away from being the darker side of some Goosebumps things. Now, Series 2000 typically has more of the darker essence to it than like Give Yourself Goosebumps, the Choose Your Own Adventure series, or like the original classic series, the old 62-book collection. This kind of prides itself on being a darker book, very much like the book that came out immediately after this, number 10, called Headless Halloween, which I think is a great read. If you haven't read that one, you're missing out on that too. I love that about Series 2000. I like darker books. I like darker movies. I like things like that. So this is right up my alley. It might be too much for some readers out there, but I think a lot of you guys are here because you want to be creeped out, because you want to be scared. And this is the perfect book, in my opinion, alongside things like Headless Halloween, Haunted Mask 2, Wanted the Haunted Mask, Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns, all these things you read during the fall that really have that feel to this time of the year. This, in my opinion, should go right in that collection of things you should check out. It's not as memorable as a lot of those things, but it will stick with me. I think it's a very solid read. I think it's a very underrated read. And again, I'm kind of surprised by it. I think a lot of the people I've heard talk about this, maybe I'm wrong, but I think a lot of the people I heard talk about this said it was bad, or that it was very underwhelming, and that kind of surprised me because it really affected me in a lot of really great ways. I haven't had a really surprising read recently, aside from Slappy and Dreamland, which had some great stuff in it from the newer series Slappy World. But for some of the older series, I thought I had read all the big highlights, and every once in a while I'll get a really good surprise like this one. So, Series 2000, are you terrified yet? Have you read this really, really creepy book? Do you love it? Do you hate it? I'd love to hear all your thoughts down in the comment section down below, guys. If I had to rate it on a 5-star basis, I would probably give this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I think it's a very, very effective read. And for what it's trying to do, what it is, involving the fall season and the atmosphere and the feeling of the tension and the situations this kid Craig gets sucked into, I really like it. There's not really much levity or humor to it. That might affect some people. I like Craig, his thought process is kind of fun, but it's more about like a Fear Factor type of thing. If you've seen that show, Fear Factor, where they basically dare people to go through a competition doing these horrifying things like laying in a vat of worms and that kind of thing. If you're creeped out by stuff like this, I think this book will get to you, and I think it'll be your kind of book. But anyway, 4 out of 5 stars, like I said, for Are You Terrified Yet? Did it terrify me? Yeah, a little bit. It really got to me for this fella who can't sleep this late at night. Anyway, put your thoughts and comments down below, folks. I would love to hear what you have to say. Sorry I had to miss this weekend trying to upload this. This is on a Monday morning. I was trying to get it read yesterday. I've been on this Halloween obsession with the movies, the Michael Myers franchise. So I've been more involved in that than I have this, and some other things on that other channel with reviews and whatever. But anyway, what are your thoughts again? Put them down below. Thank you guys for watching. Happy Halloween. God bless you all. Can't wait to see you next week, God willing, for another review. And thank you guys. God bless you. Goodbye.